As the fiscal cliff approaches, we're wondering what we can expect from the markets for this final month of the year. Our guest hosts this hour again, Barry Knapp and Richard Bernstein. And Barry, you're concerned about the direction these talks have taken just in terms of how it reflects what's happening in Europe.
Yeah, it's interesting, as I actually traveled through Europe last week. There's all this focus on the timing of getting a deal, but there's not nearly enough focus on what does the deal actually look like? What's the composition of the deal? And in fact, the Europeans were very amenable to my point of view on this, which is, you think back to a year ago when Mario Monti gets named a technocratic prime minister of Italy, and he comes out with a package which is 2/3 tax hikes, 1/3 spending cuts. And I remember sending an email to our chief economist and asking him, do you really think this is going to work? And they're raising the VAT tax, and I understand Italian household debt isn't that high, but they were trying to tax their way out of a massive debt problem. And in fact, VAT receipts went down. Consumption fell at a 4.25% annualized rate in the first half of the year. Government spending went up, and the situation got much worse. Of course, the economy weakened, and they didn't make any progress on it. And today, Italy has zero nominal GDP growth, zero, and they're funding at 4.5%. That is a bad business model, right? Spain, same story. So when you think about our package and what's been offered so far, which appears like $1.6 trillion in tax hikes against $400 billion of entitlement cuts over time, that's an even worse mix than the 2/3, 1/3 European structure that really has gotten a very negative reaction.
But how much of it you think is because of the mix, and how much of it is just this is what austerity looks like, no matter how you cut it?
Austerity only looks like that if governments don't make tough decisions, right? So if you think about this from the perspective of, would you rather, where's the money? Is the money in capping deductions, or is the money in raising marginal tax rates? The money's in capping deductions. But that's tough because you have to tell someone no, like the housing lobby or charitable contributions. That's a tough decision.
Capping deductions seems to me like the easiest of those decisions.
It does.
Rather than like wiping out
it should be, but remember, you're going to have lobbyists pushing you on it, the housing lobby and the like. So that's a tougher decision than just raising tax rates on one small part of the population, which is theoretically easy to do. And then on the spending side, making those long-term spending cuts is the only way to stabilize our debt. The single biggest driver of our debt going from 100% of GDP to 250 is Medicare.
Right.
So if we don't make those tough decisions now, all we've done is a European-style kick the can down the road. And, it's tough to cut entitlements, and it's tough to cap deductions. Austerity doesn't have to look like just taxing your way out of it. If you want it to not work, you just tax your way out of it.
Well, I think we have to remember that this is politics and not economics that's going on here. I mean, that's the most important thing I think people have to remember. And we know we want more revenue. Revenue as a percent of GDP is an all-time low. We know we want to cut spending. Spending as a percent of GDP is an all-time high. That's why we have the problem to begin with. Right. You have to accept that issue. Politicians aren't willing even to accept that issue yet, that both are at extremes. If you accept that they're both at extremes, okay, how do we raise revenue? We know the Republicans have signed all these things. They will not, because of politics, not because of economics, they will not raise marginal rates.
Although you have heard some people say they would go along with that.
Yeah, well, I agree. I mean, the center is actually saying that, but I think, so if the Democrats know that, which everybody knows, give on that. Let them get reelected. Let them not raise marginal tax rates, but ask for something else. Get for something else that will actually raise revenue the way we need to raise revenue.
But anything short of marginal rates is here's the Times today. Obama's end to giving in. There's a big piece in the Journal also about that, quoting all these leading Democrats saying the president has to hold firm this time. He gave in last time.
I don't think that's right.
But they're tying the whole 4 years to this.
Yeah,
the way this goes, so goes the next 4 years.
Right.
He's been standing firm so far. He's under enormous pressure from those people to stay
I agree.
To stand pat. And Boehner, I think, is under even more enormous pressure because a lot of people see Boehner in the House is the single best hope for avoiding what a lot of people think is a calamity. So they're totally emboldened. And this, after the weekend, I think we're headed. We're going breakneck speed right towards going over the cliff.
But leadership isn't calling the other side names, right?
Have you seen anything to indicate that either side is ready to lead?
No, that's we were talking before. I think the big four, when you talk about Boehner and McConnell, Reid and Pelosi.
No, not them. I'm talking about, and on the other side, you see any indication Obama's ready to leave?
Let me finish
All right, go ahead.
Remember, Obama's not in the legislative branch. I mean, we have to give him a break on that. But there are 4 big people. Those 4 people couldn't be more inept. They could not be more inept.
It's Boehner, the McConnell and Pelosi and Reid have nothing to do with what's going on between Boehner and Obama.
Reid, by the way, was the architect
that's true.
of the extension in 2010. I mean, Reid is the guy that pushed Obama to extend the Bush tax rates in 2010. So Reid would, I suspect.
He probably would. Okay. I'm starting to like him more. I thought of him as Senator Pat Geary from G2 for a while. Was it G1? I don't remember. Remember that guy they in one of the Godfathers? He's a Nevada
yes.
senator.
Oh, right.
But everybody loves Harry. There's a song. Everybody loves Harry. Democrats and Republicans. Anybody that has anything to do with casinos loves Harry.
Because he's good at taking care of the state.
Do you, just a quick question, you were a big cap guy for a long time. Now dividend rates are going up. Are you still a big cap guy?
No, I've been a small cap guy.
You are now?
I'll tell you why.
When did you switch from big caps to small caps?
Oh, no, this is a while ago. You
haven't been on in a while, like a year and a half ago or so?
Yeah.
Because before that you were big cap. You finally had gone to big cap. Now you're back to small cap?
The reason why?
Yeah.
Number one, they're domestically focused.
Yeah.
They're not internationally focused, so you don't have to worry about the dollar. You don't have to worry about global growth. And number two, some of the fastest projected growth rates in the world are in U.S. small cap companies. It's actually a growth story. People hate it when I say it.
Do you like any of the natural gas plays in small cap?
Well, our the way we've invested in our funds and in our products is we haven't been looking at producers of natural gas. We've been looking at users of natural gas, and I think that's been a little bit better.